17-year-old Bianca Devins was excited to go to her first concert. She left the house with 21-year-old Brandon Clark, a friend that she met online months beforehand and had met up with a few times before. This would be the last time she was seen alive by her family. The next time they saw Bianca, it was involuntary and she had been nearly decapitated. Bianca Michelle Devins was born October 2nd, 2001 to her young mother, 18-year-old Kim Devins, and her father, Mike Devins. 2 short years later, the couple had another child, Olivia Devins. Bianca and Olivia became super close early on and they never really drifted apart while growing up in their cramped home in Utica, New York. In fact, Bianca stayed close to the majority of her family throughout the years, especially her mother Kim, who she was the closest with. In 2010, after 9 years of marriage, Bianca's parents separated for the first time. The pair's relationship remained rocky even after reuniting afterwards. Coinciding with this date, at 9 years old, Bianca began to display signs of separation anxiety, although no sources explain if the anxiety was caused directly by her parents' temporary separation. This was only the first of many mental battles for Bianca. Having said that, she still remained somewhat extroverted and popular in school at this time. This, unfortunately, would not last. Around adolescence, Bianca started displaying signs of depression and, according to her mother, lost interest in everything. She would still open up to a select few people that shared her love of anime, art, and manga. Depression was a lingering element throughout middle and high school for her. The entire time, Kim was taking Bianca to a series of therapists, most of whom were unable to help her with her struggles. These issues were exacerbated by her parents separating for good in 2015. After this date, it would seem that her father wasn't in her life much, if at all. Beginning in ninth grade, Bianca had to transfer to Thomas Proctor High School due to the tuition at her former school, Notre Dame, being too expensive now that her parents were divorced. Here at the much bigger school of 2,700 plus students, Bianca didn't fit in due to her love of anime and manga and overall not fitting the popular girl archetype with her style leaning more toward emo. Her mental struggles had progressed so far around this time that she was hardly willing to leave the house. It was a major hurdle for her to even get to school in the morning. On some days, she would simply say, "I can't do it," and wouldn't go. On other days, she would manage to get to school but would have to be sent home early. During one of these low points, she considered suicide but was talked out of it by her mother. Bianca's classmates at the time confirmed this, noting that she would be gone from school for weeks at a time. To make things even worse, she also became triggered by loud noises and shouting at certain times, leading to panic attacks. A therapist around this time diagnosed her with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. When we hear PTSD, our minds usually go to military veterans, but individuals can develop PTSD after going through any sort of severe life trauma. Midway through Bianca's sophomore year in 2017, Kim pulled Bianca out of public school and enrolled her in a homebound tutoring program. Now home for entire days at a time, Bianca retreated into the online world further. She made multiple profiles on various social medias, each with differing personas. Some profiles had different genders and ethnicities than her own. Some say this was to prevent doxing and harassment, while others say it was typical experimental teenage behavior. She had also amassed a few thousand followers between these accounts at this point. Due to her appearance, some of the online community classified her as an e-girl. E-girls seem to be girls that have an online presence and generally have an edgy persona and style similar to the mid-2000s emo trend. With this label as an e-girl came negative attention that she learned to ignore, but these negative followers will come into play later. She also frequented the infamous 4chan website, specifically the R9K subforum. R9K seems to stand for Robot 9000. It was a test forum on 4chan that detected reposts and unoriginal content, and if detected, would mute the person that posted it for a short time, with the timer increasing every time an offender reoffended. On the R9K forum, there were a good deal of people talking about their lives. Bianca was one of these people, and she obtained a decent following from there as well as other parts of 4chan. This aspect could be seen as a negative or a positive, as some of these people were not what you would call desirable company. Some of them were probably decent people, but she picked up groups of trolls and incels along with orbiters. To make this short, incels are men incapable of forming meaningful relationships with women, and as a result are typically virgins. Most of them are angry about this aspect of their lives and blame women as well as sexually active men for their shortcomings. Orbiters are online men that hover around women on the internet constantly with the hopes of one day dating them, but never getting far and just lingering around, observing everything the woman does. In a sense, they kind of orbit around them. In early 2017, Bianca, now 15 years old, connected with an 18-year-old man named Rob that she met on 4chan, and the pair began dating after only 1 week of meeting. Rob was a guy struggling with substance abuse as well as his own mental issues. Their relationship turned toxic to say the least. As their relationship progressed, he demanded access to all of her social media accounts, and despite Rob living in Long Island, he even started showing up to her door unannounced. To the majority of people, these factors would be red flags. However, Bianca was said to be far too trusting and impulsive with new people in her life. Between August of 2017 and June of 2018, she ran away on at least 3 different occasions to Long Island to be with Rob. One of these times, her mother filed a missing persons report. When Bianca found that the police were looking for her, she tried to run in front of a moving car, leading to her being institutionalized for 5 days. Bianca was then outfitted with an ankle monitor to prevent her from running away from home in the future. Still, she cut off the ankle monitor and escaped one more time in mid-2018 to go see Rob. The pair broke up in the winter of 2018, and in retaliation, Rob spread nude photos of Bianca, who was only 15 when the photos were taken, all over Discord. I think most of you guys know what Discord is, but just in case some of you don't, it's software that allows you to voice chat and send messages to other people online. There are even servers which can be themed towards specific games or hobbies where hundreds of people can talk and text chat, although the primary demographic of Discord are gamers. Bianca showed the screenshots to her mother, who then reported Rob to the police. Nothing ever came out of the subsequent investigations though, as Bianca stopped cooperating with law enforcement. In 2018, Bianca was officially diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, also known as BPD. A few symptoms of BPD include emotional instability, negative self-image, impulsive behavior, and fear of abandonment. This can somewhat explain some of Bianca's previous behavior. Throughout the end of 2018 to very early 2019, Bianca was moved to the St. Anne Institute, a residential placement facility. This was the best thing that could have happened, as while there she found a counselor she liked and started to fit in with other people at the facility. Her mental state improved drastically while there. Bianca moved back home in February of 2019 and even returned to Proctor High School, where she would graduate in June of the same year. She even made plans to attend the local Mohawk Community College, only 15 minutes away from her family home. She wanted to major in psychology in order to help people through their mental struggles. Bianca had many mental battles that she overcame, a feat not many people can lay claim to. Despite her own struggles, she was characterized by friends, acquaintances, and family as a loving person, a talented artist, and an aspiring model. Brandon Clark was a 21-year-old Lyft driver from the Syracuse area, roughly an hour away from Utica. He had a fondness for fitness, gaming, and anime. During his youth, he bounced around in the foster care system due to his parents being jailed at various times throughout the years. On one occasion, his father threatened to slash his mother's throat in a domestic dispute. It goes without saying that he had a rocky childhood. He was said by friends to be obsessive, fixating on whatever caught his eye. He displayed very troubling behavior, such as texting a 12-year-old in a sexual manner when he was 16. When confronted by friends, he stated, "Trust me, you're all better off not being concerned with the shit I do or think of doing because you won't like what you see." In the spring of 2019, before graduating, Bianca met Brandon through Instagram, and shortly after, the pair connected on Discord, where they sent messages to one another where a friendship between the pair would form. Hearing about Bianca's new friendship with Brandon, her mother wanted to meet him, so Bianca brought him to their home in Utica that same evening. He impressed Bianca's mother by being extremely polite and overall seemed like a very nice guy. After that night, Brandon started coming over to the home regularly and earned the trust of Bianca's family. Brandon had originally told the family he was 19, but they soon found out he was actually 21. I'm assuming he lied due to Bianca being 17 when they met, and him thinking a 2-year gap was better than a 4-year one with a minor. Although that aspect is speculative on my part. As Brandon's visits became more frequent, Bianca's mother asked about their relationship. From what she observed, she had a strong feeling that Brandon wanted more than just friendship. Bianca stated that she made it clear multiple times to Clark that she didn't want to date him. She wanted to go to college in the fall and wanted to have full freedom to do what she wanted. Despite these claims, Bianca and Clark did end up briefly dating, but later agreed that their relationship would be open and a non committal one. On the morning of July 13th, 2019, Bianca approached her mother and said she wanted to go to a concert to see Nicole Dollanganger, an up and coming gothic folk singer. Knowing that Bianca would more than likely go even if she was told no by her mother, and seeing that Brandon was going with her to the concert, she felt comfortable to let her go as she trusted Brandon. Bianca also informed her mother that she would be meeting a guy at the concert she had met online through Discord, a man named Alex from Jersey City. Bianca's mother wasn't too worried about this either, as she knew Brandon would be there to protect her. At around 2:30 p.m., she hugged her mother, said I love you, and departed for the concert. Her last text to her mother was sent at 7:30 p.m. regarding parking spaces at the concert. When it reached 1:45 a.m., Kim called Bianca's phone and it went straight to voicemail. But her mother figured they had pulled over somewhere to sleep. At 7 a.m., the family was awoken by a knock at their door. It was the police, and they wanted to talk about Bianca. As it turns out, the pair went to the concert where they arrived at around 7:30 p.m. Shortly afterwards, they met Bianca's online friend Alex. The whole time, Alex claims that he could tell Brandon did not want him there whatsoever and seemed jealous. At some point, when Brandon briefly stepped away, Bianca and Alex started kissing. Brandon ended up witnessing the kiss without the pair's knowledge. His poor attitude at the concert from that point on became even more evident. As the concert was wrapping up, Bianca sent a text to Alex that read, I think he saw me kiss you. Bianca and Brandon left the concert sometime after 10 p.m., with Alex leaving in his own vehicle. While in the car, she sent Discord messages to a friend implying Brandon saw her kiss Alex and that he was angry. Inside of Brandon's car, an argument broke out regarding the nature of their relationship, with Bianca reminding him that they agreed not to have a monogamous relationship. After their argument ceased, Bianca fell asleep in the back seat while Brandon drove. It's at this point chilling social media posts started to surface from Brandon Clark's accounts. Here comes hell. It's redemption, right? He also changed his Instagram to reflect the day's date as his death date and posted another image with the Fight Club quote, This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time. As they reached Utica, Brandon parked his car on a dead-end road about 10 to 15 minutes from Bianca's home. What happens next was recovered from a video on Brandon's cell phone that was found during forensic analysis. The video is not available to the public, but the detective's description of it is. Brandon grabbed his cell phone and put it on the front of his dash, setting it up so that it was now recording Bianca as she slept. Brandon then fishes around in the back seat and comes out with a large knife shortly after, and hides it on the side of the car. He's then seen waking Bianca up and he starts talking. You know I saw you kiss him, right? Bianca responds with, Yeah, and I'm sorry. Well, sorry is not enough, he replied. Bianca then reminded him of their non-exclusive relationship and then says, Are you ready to take me home yet or not? It's at this point Brandon quickly surprised Bianca with his knife and started slashing her throat, nearly decapitating her by the end of the attack. Investigators described the act as an initial slash and then sawing down onto her neck to complete his vile act. Bianca fought back the entire time before meeting her end. Brandon is then seen facing the camera as he starts repeatedly shouting, Bianca, why did you make me do this? After his horrific actions, Brandon took photos of Bianca's dead body and began spreading them throughout the Discord server Bianca frequented at around 6:03 a.m. with the caption, Sorry fuckers, you'll have to find someone new to orbit. Initially, the Discord community thought this was some sort of hoax, especially after seeing it was Brandon who posted it. They inquired where he got the photo from, thinking it wasn't real. Brandon responded with, My car dumbass, along with other choice words before ending with, subscribe to PewDiePie. The last part of that being a reference to the battle on YouTube at the time between T-Series and PewDiePie, who were vying for the #1 spot. Around this time, he called his grandmother and left her a voicemail. He then tried to call his brother with no answer. And finally, he called his aunt, informing her that he had killed Bianca Devins. She called police. It's also said by investigators that he rewatched the murder video during this time and also started building a bonfire to potentially burn Bianca's body, though nothing ever came of it. The graphic images of Bianca started flooding the internet now that others had saved them, prompting people to start calling the local police. That's when the police arrived at the Devins residence in the early morning hours. After some conversation, police state that they were alerted to posts online that lead them to believe Brandon had harmed Bianca. Kim's friend Kaylee began scrolling through Instagram where she quickly came across Bianca's picture. Horrified, she then took Kim's phone away from her so that she wouldn't see the horrific image. At the same time, Bianca's younger sister Olivia let out a blood-chilling scream as she was sent the image of Bianca, with her throat cut and blood littering her shoulders and chest. Soon after, the family began being bombarded with messages from incels and trolls, sending the images by the hundreds with awful captions such as "she deserved it," with some using the opportunity to meme the whole situation. Bianca's death had unfortunately gone viral, and images of her were being spread all over the internet at this point. Around the same time, another group of police had located Brandon Clark and his vehicle on a dead-end road a little ways away from the Devins household. Brandon Clark had called 911 in a chilling manner and given away his location before hanging up.
There's going to be there's a murder-suicide.
Okay. On Post Street, you said?
The end of Post Street, yes.
Okay. Very end of Post Street. Okay, what's your name?
My name is Brandon. The victim is Bianca Michelle Devins.
When police confronted Brandon Clark, they noticed a green tarp behind him with hair sticking out of it. As police got into position, he slashed himself in the neck with his large knife before collapsing onto the tarp in an attempt to take his own life. Immediately upon hitting the tarp, he pulled out his cell phone and started taking various selfies of himself bleeding profusely and posting them to social media. One of them had the caption, "Ashes to ashes." After a small struggle, Brandon was unarmed and wheeled away in an ambulance. Underneath the tarp was the body of Bianca Devins. After the initial shock, investigators began looking at the crime scene. It was just as bizarre as Brandon's behavior had been. On a Bluetooth speaker connected to Brandon's phone, the song "Test Drive" by Joji was playing on an endless loop. The song eerily seems to describe a relationship where one person is more invested than the other. On the ground, there was a spray-painted message, "May you never forget me." Investigators found it had been taken from a manga series, Pun Pun, which they described as a dark version of Romeo and Juliet. Brandon and Bianca had read this manga series together many times. At the hospital, Brandon survived the knife injury and after being released was immediately arrested. In his booking photos, the knife scar can be seen on the side of his neck. Following the news of Bianca's death, downtown Utica was lit up in pink. Candlelight vigils were also held in Bianca's honor. In an attempt to stop the graphic images that were still flooding in on the various social media websites, many people banded together in a heartwarming display, posting images of pink clouds, Bianca's art, and their memories of Bianca. In doing this, the graphic images got forced down and lost some of their visibility. The trolls and incels then resorted to changing their profile pictures to Bianca's corpse in addition to their spamming. Social media companies were slow to react, with Instagram being one of the worst offenders, allowing the images to stay up for months in some cases. Justice for the Devins family did not come swiftly due to the 2020 pandemic, which pushed the court date back to March 16, 2021. At the Oneida County Court, family members packed into the courtroom wearing pink, Bianca's favorite color. They looked on as Brandon Clark spoke before being sentenced.
I hate myself for what I did there. I don't know why. I don't understand how I could do something like that. I don't even know who I was that day, and it disgusts me. I remember when I first met Bianca, how much I adored her, and how much I just wanted to spend time with her, and for that adoration to turn into something so evil, and it's like a nightmare. Every day I wish I could wake up and just have it not be real, have it not be me. I look in the mirror and I see the scar on my neck and I see the freaking jumpsuit and I just think it can't be me, it can't be. That's not the person I am. I just don't even know who I am, you know. I have to live with the guilt and the shame that because of me, because of my actions, Bianca isn't here. And she didn't deserve that. And I can't even fathom the pain that the people who loved her feel because of me. I know she was a daughter and a sister and a friend, and to have her taken in such a horrible manner.
As the trial came to an end, Brandon was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. He's currently believed to be serving his life sentence at Attica Correctional Facility in New York. Brandon Clark was clearly a very disturbed individual. Despite some sources saying this was a crime of passion, he came prepared for the murder with the recording equipment and his giant knife. Furthermore, a glimpse into his internet history in May of the same year, just months before the attack, showed internet searches such as how to cut through the carotid artery, how to choke someone out, and how to incapacitate someone. It was also found he had saved hundreds of photos of Bianca onto his various devices and frequently checked all of her social medias daily, further revealing an obsession with her. Despite the absolute tragedy of Bianca's death, some good did come in the aftermath. Bianca's law was proposed by the New York State Assembly and later signed into effect, which makes it a crime to post graphic images of people in traumatic situations. In addition, the Devins started the Bianca Michelle Devins Memorial Scholarship Fund, which aims to help support students pursuing a degree in psychology. This, in a way, allows Bianca's dream of helping people with their mental illnesses become fulfilled through others. Anyways, that's about all I have for y'all. If you watched this far, I really do appreciate it. If you want to help out the channel further, you know what to do. Thanks guys. Peace.